Imagine waking up to the sound of distant thunder. But it's not a storm. It's the pounding hooves of 100,000 warriors charging straight for you. By the time you even understand what's happening, it's already too late. Your city gone. Your army scattered. Your people either dead or now part of the Mongol Empire. This was the terrifying reality of Genghis Khan's unmatched strategy. But how did a man from the harsh Mongolian steppes, with no formal education and no kingdom to inherit, conquer more land than the Roman Empire and Alexander the Great combined? And more importantly, what was his secret? To understand the brilliance of Genghis Khan, you have to step inside his mind. This wasn't just a warlord hungry for blood and destruction, no. This was a man playing a game of chess while the rest of the world was still learning checkers. He transformed the Mongol army into the deadliest force in history, not through sheer numbers, but through something far more terrifying: calculated precision. Before a single arrow was loosed, Genghis Khan already knew how the battle would end. Spies were his first wave of attack, infiltrating enemy lands, gathering intelligence, spreading misinformation, and creating chaos before a single Mongol warrior even appeared. Think about that. While his enemies were sharpening their swords, he was sharpening his knowledge. And in war, knowledge is a weapon far more powerful than steel. Now, if you think that's terrifying, wait till you hear this. His soldiers didn't just follow him. They worshipped him. Why? Because under Genghis Khan, loyalty wasn't demanded, it was earned. In an era where noble birth meant everything, he shattered the status quo. If you were skilled, you rose. You were weak, you fell. It didn't matter if you were born a peasant or a prince. Imagine how radical that was, especially when most of his enemies were still bickering over royal bloodlines. And let's talk about discipline. Ever seen a Mongol archer in action? These warriors could fire arrows with deadly accuracy while riding at full speed backward. Yes, backward. Just imagine your worst nightmare on horseback, grinning as they take you down while galloping away. It's the medieval version of a drive-by shooting only. Instead of a car, it's a horse. And instead of bullets, it's arrows tipped with precision and ruthlessness. But here's where things get really interesting. Genghis Khan didn't just conquer, he adapted. He learned from every civilization he crushed, captured engineers, they built him siege weapons, defeated scholars. They became his advisors, turned his enemies' strengths into his own weapons. And before they even realized it, he wasn't just knocking on their doors, he was ruling their cities. Still think brute force was his secret? Think again. His true weapon was fear. Before attacking, he gave cities a choice: surrender and be spared, or resist and be utterly erased. The result? Many surrendered without a fight, terrified of the Mongol reputation. This wasn't just war, it was psychological warfare at its finest. And the few who resisted, ... Let's just say history remembers what happens when you say no to Genghis Khan. Ever heard of the Khwarezmian Empire? No, exactly. But here's the most fascinating part. Unlike other conquerors, Genghis Khan didn't just destroy, he built. He established trade routes, protected merchants, and ensured religious freedom across his empire. In a twisted irony, his reign of terror also created one of the safest and most prosperous trade networks in history. So what was the secret to Genghis Khan's unmatched strategy? It wasn't just military genius. It was a perfect storm of intelligence, adaptability, discipline, and psychological warfare. He wasn't just fighting battles. He was rewriting the rules of war itself. And here's the chilling thought. What if someone today learned from his playbook? Would we even see them coming? Curious. Stay cautious. And remember, history's greatest lessons often come from the minds of those we fear the most.